Welcome to episode number 3 of Hoop Talk Fanatics. I am here with my co-host, Chris Cohen, and today is a very special day because we are making our debut with our college hoops talk for the episode, for the podcast, and I'm very excited to see what Chris has to say and also excited to see what our predictions are.
And it's just exciting to be able to be back talking basketball. I was able to be at the KU exhibition Wednesday night, just being back in Allen Fieldhouse. I love the college basketball environment, and I'm super excited for this season. A lot of really good teams, a lot of talent switching teams. Like there's a lot to talk about and a lot of storylines to monitor. And we have some big time games next week too that we're going to go over. So super excited to discuss those. But first, we got to get into the more disappointing and somber topic, which is Oklahoma State is ineligible for the postseason this year. Originally, it was supposed to be last year, and we saw Cade Cunningham in that team. They appealed, so they were able to play last year, and they lost in the second round. But this year's team, I mean, even without Cunningham, they're still a borderline top 25 team, a team that most likely would have made the NCAA tournament. Definitely projected to do so, but just them not being able to participate. And it stinks because, I mean, it's announced like a week before the season starts or whatever. And like that just puts the team in a really tough spot because it doesn't give like some guys may have potentially transferred out, but I mean, it's a whole situation. I don't want to get too deep with that, but like, it's just really disappointing to find out right before the season starts because they've been training for a couple months now, really going hard at it this whole semester, getting ready. And now they just find out that they didn't win the appeal. And I thought they would, but I guess with NCAA, you never know. And it's just super disappointing. But I just never agree with postseason bans because, I mean, like in extreme situations, maybe, but like it just doesn't, the people who caused the issue are no longer a part of the team. So I just don't understand that. Like I don't know, if people cheat and then they switch schools, it's like, I don't know how you do that. But like just punish. It's I mean, it's a slippery slope, like because you can't just let every school go on, but like I don't know, punish the coaches, like recruiting violations they had, like do something like that. Don't ban them from postseason play. I just absolutely disagree with it, and it's super frustrating as a college basketball fan. Just sucks seeing teams ineligible because it just really puts a damper on, especially some Big 12 basketball because this Oklahoma State team is really good, and I'm hoping they can still stay motivated.
Who's I'm not familiar with the roster yet, but who's one standout player you think will have a breakout season for them?
For them, so they got a lot. Let me double check, pull up the roster real quick because I know because they've gone through some changes. I don't want to say wrong name. I know because I mean I know the main guy is Avery Anderson. I think he's there. He'll probably be the best player. I may be wrong. They also I forgot about this transfer. They got Bryce Thompson, who was at Kansas last year. Don't know what kind of role I expect from him. I mean, and then Isaac Likely, he's a point guard. They have the Keelan Boone, like that. They have the Boones. Like this is a really good basketball team. So many people last season thought that it was just Cade Cunningham, but like they legitimately, like they were a 4th seed. Like they were a dangerous team just because they didn't go deep in the tournament. They were honestly one of the better teams in the country, and like they still had the majority of that depth back this season. So like they would have absolutely been NCAA tournament team that could potentially do some damage. I wanted not like a Final Four threat or anything, but they're a team that could have won a couple games in March. But yeah, Avery Anderson's that guy who I think really breaks out. Probably lead the team in scoring, but Isaac Likely is a really reliable point guard. And maybe Bryce Thompson has a breakout year after leaving Kansas in a row, but I don't expect it. But I mean, they're a very deep team, and if you get a chance to watch them, you'll see that like they have a lot of guys who could play. Because when Cade Cunningham missed some games last season, Avery Anderson had some big scoring outputs, so we should see that on a more consistent basis this season.
I'm just looking at their schedule, and they open up with UT Arlington at home.
Nice. There we go. Who does it? They have. They don't. They don't. I think theirs is pretty easy. They do have a couple tests. When it gets into December, it gets a lot tougher. I see. Oh,
Mhm.
actually, they have a few easy ones within NC State. They go at Oral Roberts, which will be a tough one. Wichita State at home, Xavier, Houston, USC. So like they start to get tested eventually. So it'll be fun to see them in a lot of these games because they're the because they have the few easy ones to start, but it's a pretty competitive non-conference schedule actually. So I'm really excited to see how they perform. And the thing is, they also cannot play in the Big 12 tournament either. The Big 12 announced, which I don't know. I think teams usually don't play in conference tournaments when they're banned from the postseason, but just disappointing. But yeah, I mean they're still a really good basketball team, and I hope they can still live up to their potential, even though they won't be able to play in the NCAA tournament.
What do you think about the opening week games between Villanova and UCLA?
So that's probably the singular. I would say that's the singular best matchup that we have this week because UCLA, that miraculous run they had, but then the tournament to make the Final Four, and they bringing everyone back and they added some pieces, so they're going to be a lot better than they were last season, and that's why they're preseason ranked number 2. I think rightfully so. They're a dangerous team, but Villanova got a lot of respect in the preseason poll being ranked number 4. I feel like that really surprised me. I don't disagree with it, but it surprised me. I don't know how you felt about that, but like it's a big time matchup. Colin Gillespie. I know more about UCLA's players, so I'll kind of discuss about them. You can kind of talk about who you're looking for Nova to step up in that game. But for like UCLA, you got Jaime Jaquez, Johnny Juzang. They added Johnson, the transfer from Rutgers. He'll play some type of role. I forget the point guard's name. I can picture him for UCLA. I forgot his name. That's really going to frustrate me. Let me look that up. I apologize. Tiger Campbell. He's a stud. He was really good. And I'm super, super excited for that. I mean, it's gonna be a wild season for college basketball. But Villanova, I mean, you can't take too much stock in the early season matchups, but it is always good, especially for a fan's perspective and for the teams to get matched up against the elite competition. You can really gauge where you're at as a team because by March the teams will be completely different, playing different ball. But seeing where you stack up early on, and you can really see what you need to improve upon. So that's why a lot of these teams try to schedule these tough games right away, and like really just get after it.
Speaking of UCLA, they open up with CSU Bakersfield on Tuesday, and that should be a very interesting game.
It'll just be fun to see them play.
Yeah.
Should be an easy win. Villanova should have a game before UCLA as well, right?
And that Friday, Villanova plays UCLA.
Okay, nice. So yeah, I mean they get that little warm up. Then that's gonna be a big time.
And then the following Monday, they play Long Beach State.
Nice. Yeah. So like you'll get a lot of these, mix in some tough ones, get some easy ones. Because college basketball non-conference schedule is a big part of it's making money for the smaller schools.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they play a lot of these bigger schools to get some money for the program, which is super important. And it's just gonna be super exciting. I'm definitely where is this Nova UCLA game being played? Do you know?
It's being played in Anaheim, I think.
Anaheim. I thought it was neutral, but I thought it is it at UCLA or is it like Staples
Uh,
Center or something? Do you know?
it is at Party Pavilion.
It is at Poly. Okay, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, Nova's going to bring their A game. They still definitely have a chance, but I'll definitely
Mhm.
pick UCLA in this one. But I mean, UCLA, like, it's different because not different. It's difficult because I mean, UCLA. There's a reason. Like, UCLA was an 11 seed last year. Like, they were not a very good bet. Like, I mean, they were good, but they weren't a great basketball team for until the NCAA tournament. Like, they had a lot of struggles. And they barely got in, and like they have to be better than that this season. Like,
Yeah.
and the expectations are like they want to get back to the Final Four, but like you're not doing that as an 11 seed again. Like you
Mhm.
have to finish at the top seed if you want a really favorable schedule. And like, I mean, it starts with building as many quality wins as you can. And even though it's just a November game, it doesn't mean a whole lot in terms of if you're going to win the championship. All these wins add up, and getting a marquee win can go a long way for your confidence too, even let alone the resume builder. So definitely be a big one. Do you think Nova had a chance in this one?
I Yeah, they definitely do. I think Count Gillespie is going to be the one to watch out for in that game because he's on a different level once he gets the ball, and he's got that range of shooting, which is excellent. And I think that Jermaine Samuels, Eric Dixon, or another two uh, to look out for. Especially Eric Dixon coming into last year, he's been slowly progressing on defense, and he just found his comfort zone uh, towards the end of the season. And I think that during this off season, before this season, he's been in the gym all the time, and he's I, he's definitely impressing Jay Wright every day. And I think this is the season where he's gonna spark the most out of this Villanova squad besides Count Gillespie. And I think that they they are definitely going to go farther than people think. And I'm just looking forward to seeing the first matchup next Friday night uh, at UCLA, and hopefully they get the win.
Definitely, yeah. I feel like we always see some Villanova upperclassmen like really they develop well, and
Mhm.
there's going to be a player breakout this season, and I think it could be Dixon, like you mentioned. But I mean,
Mhm.
some they're going to have guys step up. I feel like they always do, and they got a lot of respect with this number 4 preseason ranking, so it's going to be super exciting to see. But like that's a fantastic matchup we got.
Mhm. So our next game to dive in is Texas against Gonzaga. So, what are your thoughts on Texas, and how do you like that matchup against Gonzaga?
It's gonna be a tough one for the Longhorns to win because I mean Gonzaga. I mean they lost a few guys, but they're the clear best favorite. They're the clear favorite right now, and they have a ton of great players. But Texas also brings they have a lot of veterans, and
Mhm.
Chris Beard his first big game as the Longhorns head coach. It's gonna be super exciting. I mean the guard play. You got Matt Coleman, Andrew Jones. I believe they still have Courtney Ramey. I may be incorrect on that, but like the Longhorns have a lot of talent,
Mhm.
and but Gonzaga has probably who most people say the best player in the country inside of Drew Timmy, the most popular incoming freshman. At least I don't think I'd call him the best, Chet Holmgren,
Mhm.
and they. I mean this team's loaded. Like both these teams are loaded,
Yeah.
but I mean it's just gonna be interesting to see how they perform. Two really good teams that have national championship aspirations, and we'll just have to wait and see how it unfolds. I'm definitely leaning Gonzaga to win the game, but I mean the Longhorns, they feel like they can definitely win this game. They have really good guard play. I already mentioned, but like maybe the best group of guards in the country, and like they're going to be dangerous, and they're going to score the basketball. Chris Beard's going to get them to play tough defense, and I'm super excited to see the Longhorns play this season. And this is going to be an absolutely fantastic matchup.
So moving ahead to conference championship predictions.
Do we want to? Let's go real quick. Let's discuss the two matchups in the Champions Classic on Tuesday.
Okay.
Quick. So we got the first one. The Champions Classic is always, it's kind of the marquee basketball season opener. They've been doing it for probably like 6 or 7 years now. It's KU, Duke, Kentucky, Michigan State. They always mix up locations, who plays who, whatever. This season it's starting. I don't even know where it's being played. I believe it's New York at MSG.
Yeah, MSG.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, I know the first game is Michigan State against Kansas, and then Duke, Kentucky's a later one. But Kansas, Michigan State. Kansas is the clear favorite to win this game. Michigan State's not even ranked preseason in the top 25, which I personally disagree with. I think it should be, but that's a different conversation. But the point is, Kansas is the massive favorite in this game. They're extremely talented. They're bringing back the majority of last year's team, and they added some really good transfers. Joseph Yusefu, Remy Rollins, preseason Big 12 Player of the Year. They added him. Kansas is just loaded. They added Jalen Coleman-Lands. They had a couple good freshmen who can make an impact. This team is extremely deep.
I definitely remember. His name is Ochi Agbaji.
He's a stud.
He's been great for you guys.
He's a special talent. That game Wednesday, that dude should already be in the NBA. I think he is a pro, and I think he's going to have a breakout season. Like he's had big moments, but he's been a little bit inconsistent.
I think you said the game is Wednesday, but I feel like it's Tuesday.
The game's on Tuesday,
Yeah.
So like that, it's gonna be a big one. See them in exhibitions, just the talent level offensively on this team's sensational.
I unfortunately won't be able to see that game.
I probably won't be able to either. I'll probably record it and then try to stay away from spoilers. So don't text me spoilers, Alex.
Because I got football practice during the game, and
I feel that.
And
I might try to record both of them.
I'll definitely be able to see the second half of the second game.
Yeah, that's why I'm at as well. But I might try and record both of them. If I can stay away from spoilers, though, that'd be tough. I'll probably just record them and try it. If I can't, I'll just rewatch or whatever. But I'll try to avoid spoilers. I mean, KU should. I'm not super worried because KU should win. Lost would suck, but it's as college basketball fans, we realize these losses don't really matter. It's more about how you look. Like when you always want to win, of course, but like you want to play well, and if you play well and lose, it sucks. But like that's almost more important than playing bad and winning.
Actually, looking at Kansas's schedule, I'm definitely looking forward to the ESPN Events Invitational.
That's a good one. That's gonna be. I forgot who the other marquee team is.
It's North Texas, Dayton, Miami, Alabama, Belmont, Drake, and I think it's Iowa.
Yeah, so like there's a couple bottom level schools who not really, and then there's a few okay schools, and then Alabama and Kansas. That we better get that matchup. I believe it'll be I think it's Thanksgiving weekend is that tournament, if I remember right. So like that,
it is.
I hope we get that game.
November 25th.
25th is when it'll start. Okay.
It's actually one, two. I think it's a 4-day event.
4-day. It's
Yeah.
at least 3.
Actually,
I think it's an
actually
18
looking
tournament.
at it, there is a stoppage on the 27th,
And then the title's on this Sunday.
and the last day is the 28th.
It's okay. That actually works better for me. Yeah, because that a big fan. College basketball I love these preseason tournament things they do.
And
I love it.
one other thing to add, so it ends on the 28th, and their next game is at St. John's.
Yeah.
After that,
It's a nice little trip they got going. And down to Florida, then up to MSG. Oh, back at MSG, probably. Yeah.
Actually, it's at St. John's, I think.
They play most of their home games at MSG, but it is
Elmont, New York.
Oh, sick! I know they play a ton at MSG, but yeah, actually at St. John's. I don't know St. John's Arena very well.
And that game is on Fox Sports 1.
Let's go. Like that. That'll be a big time matchup.
With the tip-off being at 6 p.m. my time.
Let's go. So yeah, I mean those two teams are so 5 my time. I'll still make it work. But yeah, I love these preseason tournaments are so exciting. Like just all like that most iconic one's the Maui Invitational. But yeah, I love all these. We'll have more episodes, so we'll really break down these preseason. We can probably do an episode where we predict a lot of these and really just break all of them down because they're a couple weeks.
We definitely do a long breakdown of week 1's games. Late next week.
Yeah, we'll get it.
And definitely there's something I want to touch on is since I'm from the Philly area, I want to dive into the next segment, which is the conference predictions. And I think that to start with the American Conference, I think Temple is going to be a very unique team this year with some big freshmen coming in. Just looking at their roster, I think with them losing Quentin Rose, I think that Temple, I'm just looking at their roster right now. 1 second.
Oh, you're good. I don't know a lot about their current roster.
Oh, so one player for them is Khalif Battle.
Okay. You still have him.
Which is he's going to be a good addition. Also, Isaiah Miller from Newman Goretti, Philadelphia, PA.
Nice.
Which he played with in. It says he averaged 18.4 points in high school, and he had 6.4 assists with 2.9 steals.
Nice.
Including a 30-point, 12 rebound, and 10 assist outing in an overtime loss in the league championship.
Dang. But no, definitely glad to see he can come up big in moments like that. But I think it's definitely good. They're bringing in some really good pieces. I don't know a lot about them, so I don't want to lie and act like I can break them down. But I think this is the year. I think it's kind of a developmental year, but I still think they can be somewhat competitive. I don't think they're an NCAA tournament team, but I think they could be an NIT team. I think NIT is their ceiling. I don't know what your thoughts are.
The game I'm most interested from their schedule is USC comes to Philly.
That's a good one.
Play them.
Because that's a tough test, but it's still winnable.
And a Pac-12 team coming.
That's big. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not
But
sure when the last time a Pac-12 team played Temple.
probably
It's
been a
been a
while.
while.
Maybe
Yeah,
when they were really good a while back. I bet they had some matchups, maybe in postseason even. But yeah, like
and
that's super excited to watch that one.
and uh, Clemson will play Temple in the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic
Nice.
on November 18th, which will take place in Charleston, South Carolina.
Nice. That's a good tournament. I bet there's a couple other good teams in there that they'll face.
Yeah. So the next. So, do you want to add anything to the American Conference?
American. Just touch on. So my pick to win is Houston. I think they're the best team, but Memphis is kind of the main team to really talk about. Because expectations have just been so high for them the past couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
like unrealistically high. And I get when you have that much talent that they have, but like expectations were way too high. But this is the year they need to make the NCAA tournament. Like it's time to get the job done. Penny's brought life to the program, and like I love watching Memphis play. Like I love these teams, but they have to
Mm-hmm.
find a way to make the NCAA tournament. But then another team. I mean, I
Yeah.
like Memphis' talent. I'm not super. I think they will make the NCAA tournament, but I mean, they're not locked by any means. They got to take care of business out of conference and when they get to conference. But the one I think the best player in the American Conference is Tyson Etienne from Wichita State, and I think
Mm-hmm.
he's going to have a huge season for the Shockers.
What do you think about St. Joe's? Do you think
Joe's,
they could be a potential breakout year for them?
it's possible. I I don't think so, but I don't know enough about their team though, honestly, to really give
Yeah.
a good opinion on it. But
I
I
mean,
don't think they're quite
every
at that
every
stage.
every Philly college hoops team is a pretty hard topic
Yes.
because
I feel
you
like a
don't
lot of
know.
them are in a similar spot, like program wise. I mean, not Nova, obviously.
Yeah,
Like I feel like a lot of the other ones are decent.
Drexel, Penn.
Yeah. Decent to below average.
Yeah.
I mean, decent for their conferences, I'd say. Like
Hmm.
slightly below average in their conference, but
Yeah.
not a threat to really do a whole lot. I know Penn's had some good teams recent years, but
Hmm.
yeah.
So the next conference that we will talk about is the Pac-12 conference.
I apologize. My orders and I had no order. I just kind of threw
Uh,
them up randomly. That's all good. Yeah, Pac-12.
I screenshotted it.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just typed randomly when I put the conferences. Dude, the Pac-12 is gonna be weird. Um,
What do
I
you
don't know what
think
to expect.
about Stanford?
Stanford. I don't. I'm not super high on them. I'm not high in the conference in general, though. I
Yeah.
mean, they definitely overachieved in the NCAA tournament. Um, but they definitely were better than I gave them credit for last year too. So I don't want to just hate on it, but I'm just low. I don't want to sleep on the Pac-12 again, but like I
Mhm.
just don't think it's gonna be as good as it was last year. I
I
mean,
mean,
they definitely have some couple really good teams. Like UCLA is a title contender.
I
Oregon's
think
really good. USC is
yeah,
good.
I think UCLA and USC are the two most popular teams coming into the season.
Definitely, I'd slide Oregon into that mix as well. But like those are the only three I trust right now.
And I just wanted your opinion on Washington State.
Washington State. They. I feel like I don't know enough about specific teams in the Pac-12 to go too
Mhm.
in depth, but I feel like a lot of them include which Washington State's in this pack. They're a decent. They're a decent team, but I don't know if they're really a threat to do a whole lot of damage. Because like I was looking at the conference. like we already talked about the top three, and I feel like the bottom couple, Washington and Cal probably, but then
Mhm.
like 4 through 9, 4 through 10, maybe Utah could go up or down. Like it's. I mean, it's gonna be jumbled, but like
Yeah.
I feel like they're all okay basketball teams, and like the opportunity is gonna be there for a couple of these teams to really like emerge from that kind of middle pack. Like Arizona is the one that you would expect to do it,
Mhm.
even like losing Sean Miller, but like the talent there. Oregon State after what they did in the NCAA tournament, who knows what they'll do. Colorado is always a decent ball club. Arizona State's in a weird spot, and then like you meant Washington State. I think I think Washington State can make the NCAA tournament, but I mean, it's just so tough to predict a lot of this stuff.
Mhm.
But I mean, UCLA is definitely my pick to win the conference. But other than that, I mean, I trust Oregon to be at least good, and UCLA will be decent. Outside of those top three, there's no one I really trust. I mean, I do trust Colorado to at least be decent, whether that's NCAA tournament or not. They always seem to be competitive, but most of the other schools are so they fluctuate so much from year to year. You
Mhm.
never know what you're gonna get.
So uh, I think we will only have time for two more conference predictions.
We can go through
If
them real quick if you want.
okay, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Uh, so the last two that I wanted to touch on is the Big Ten conference and the Big East conference.
All right. Cool.
So starting with the Big Ten conference, I think that Ohio State is going to be an interesting team to watch. Uh, they always get pretty good commits, and I think this year might be a different year in the Big Ten, especially with Penn State being the conference and Purdue and a bunch of others. And what's your opinion on the Big Ten?
Big Ten. I think the top three are Purdue, Illinois, Michigan. Not necessarily in that order. That's how I have it. But and then Ohio State, you talked about them. I think they could really make this a top four of
Mhm.
really strong teams. And then the middle of the pack, yeah, like Michigan State, Maryland. I'm really high on Rutgers. I think they will get back to the NCAA tournament. Um, Wisconsin always seems to be decent. Iowa still has some solid players. And Penn State, I don't think Penn State's an NCAA tournament team, but I think they will be okay and somewhat competitive in the conference. So I'm really excited to see that. But like the Big Ten super deep conference, like it'll be so competitive from top to bottom every single night. It's one of the best conferences in the country, if not the best.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting uh, to see what goes what happens week one in the Big Ten conference. Uh, I'm actually checking the first week games for the Big Ten. 1 second. Big Ten. So Ohio State opens up with Akron at home, uh, which will be an easy win for them. Uh, for the Buckeyes. Oh, and another team that I think we forgot to mention is Indiana. What do you think about them?
I think they're a good team. I think I don't know. They're I mean they'll definitely be decent, but I think I trust some of the other teams more though. Like Rutgers, Wisconsin, Maryland. I
Mhm.
trust these teams more than I trust Indiana. I think so. I mean, but they're gonna be so close, so competitive. Like the opportunities are gonna be there for Indiana to be an NCAA tournament team, but if they can capitalize, because I mean it's gonna come down to who if they get as many quality wins as you can. Most of these teams are going to be good enough to win at home against each other, but the team that can go get a few on the road is going to be very, very crucial.
So lastly, we are going to touch on the Big East Conference. I think it's uh, very easy to predict this conference because with Villanova being a big topic throughout the conference this year, I think they got a big uh, a big lead with how this conference will be, and I'm not exactly sure what will be the second and third best team in the conference, but I think I do see maybe Creighton being a top contender, and maybe I don't know. It's just hard to predict at the moment.
I'm high on UConn personally. I think UConn will be a contender. I don't know if I don't think any team's good enough to really push Villanova for the title though.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people think Xavier could, but I don't think anybody can take the crown from Nova. I mean, we all know how competitive that conference is. So it'll probably come down to a game or two just by how like these teams are competitive. Villanova's gonna lose a few on the road for sure. Like I think they'll play 20 conference games. I think they'll probably go 16-4, 17-3. So no, I don't know. They'll probably. I mean, they could lose 5 or 6 too, like and still win it pretty easily because like it's that competitive. But there's definitely, I would say they're the handful of NCAA tournament teams here. But UConn's preseason ranked, I believe. I don't think Xavier is, but there's good depth in the conference. The bottom is a tad weak for me, but that's normal conferences. It means a really, really good group of teams, and a lot of these teams are good enough to beat Villanova at home, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes for this conference. But Villanova's definitely the favorite, and then one of these teams in the second group will make a big step forward and surprise us. Not sure who will be. I think it'll be UConn, but it's going to be super, super exciting to see, I feel like.
I'm definitely looking forward to the bad boy mowers battle for Atlantis.
That's a good tournament. Always. I don't even know.
UConn against Auburn.
That'll be a fun one. That will be a very fun matchup.
Which will be November 24th on ESPN at 2:30 p.m.
Let's go. So that's a big time matchup.
And I think that's one of the biggest games for UConn for the month of November. For December, they got the Big East Big 12 battle game between West Virginia and UConn.
Nice. That'll be a fun one.
And a very unique one, which I think this will be a great matchup. St. Bonaventure against UConn.
That's a really good matchup. St. Bonaventure is going to be really good this year.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a NCAA tournament contender.
Oh, I definitely think they'll be a tournament team. I think they're preseason ranked, I believe. I think they're in the 20s. I think they were 22, if I saw correctly. But I guess that's a really good matchup.
What are your thoughts on Providence?
I don't think they're going to be very good this season.
Yeah.
I never want to doubt because I feel like they always find a way to be decent at least. But I don't think they're in state tournament threat. Love the coach, love what their program has done over the years, but I don't think they're good enough to get into that like middle group of teams in the Big East consistently. Like they'll definitely have moments. There'll be a couple of them at home for sure, but I don't think they're quite good enough to really push for that middle group and try to go like 500 and play. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're just a step below.
Yeah,
they're not the worst team in the conference though.
So you got anything to add with predictions for the conferences?
Nothing too much. I mean, Big 12 is pretty obvious with Kansas.
Mhm,
Texas and Baylor both really good too. ACC is pretty clearly Duke, I think. I mean, North Carolina, Florida State, Virginia, a good group
mhm,
of teams in the second mix. Um, SEC, it's a little interesting. I would definitely say I think Alabama's a clear favorite. Kentucky will be good. Arkansas will be good. But I think the rest of those conferences, I think most of the conferences have a clear favorite.
mhm,
So, I mean, the depth in these conferences are really good, and it's going to be super exciting to see how these teams go. But
mhm.
like, nothing too much to add. Just like, I'm just excited for all of them. I love watching all these conferences play.
All right, so before we conclude the episode, uh, we will be giving our Final Four predictions. Uh, and I'm going to start off. Uh, I think that Villanova is going to be the winner of the tournament. With I'm not just saying that it's this is going to be uh, their year just because I'm a fan of them, but from my perspective, I think this team is deep on another level, and I think that they can definitely do damage with whatever comes at them in the tournament. And they're going to be one of the four teams I think will make it a big impact. My second team is going to be I'll have to say UConn. I think that they're going to come into this season ready to do something that the program hasn't done before in a while. And I think that this is the type of year that they can maybe get to the Final Four. And I'm excited to see how they do. And my third team is Duke. I think that each year Duke has been a great team, and I think that this year might be their year to get all the way to the Final Four. And I'm not exactly sure what my fourth team would be. I think I would have to go with maybe a Pac-12 team in UCLA. I think
Okay.
that just seeing from other games from the past year or two, they've been so dominant, uh, both sides of the floor, and it's hard not to pick them to be in the Final Four this, especially this season. And I think that it's just um, a very unique team, and they got a lot of stars on that team, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Now, I could see you. The UCLA one surprises me. I think they'll be decent, but I really do like the other picks. Um, so I'll start with mine. I also do have Villanova in the Final Four. They're one of my teams. You talk
Mhm.
about the depth. Colin Gillespie, I think he's. Uh, sorry. I was debating if I wanted to say he's going to win Player of the Year in the country, and no. Either way, he's one of the best players in the country. I was just
Mhm.
really debating in my head if I wanted to really give that take. So I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna hold off for now. But like he's the best point guard in the country. I think
Yeah.
for sure. The best like pure point guard. He's probably the best guard anyway. But like there's so many different
Mhm.
skill sets. Whatever. Best pure point guard for sure. Um, then I have Kansas getting in. The depth on his team is really good. Um, just super talented. And then I have. I'm really debating. I was pretty confident. I was gonna go with Alabama, and I'm really debating. Sorry. Actually, let me go back to I'll just go with my head or go with my sleeper. And I agree with you on this one. I really. I like this team. I have UConn also in the Final Four.
Mhm.
I really think I think they're going to surprise some people. And then I'm debating if I want to play it safe or not. I'm not going to play it safe. I am going to go with Alabama as my fourth team. I hate picking both Gonzaga and UCLA not in it, but I don't think they get in. I don't. It's just gonna be tough for UCLA to duplicate that. It's gonna be tough
Mhm.
for Gonzaga to duplicate what they did as well.
Mhm.
Like it is hard to win in March, and like they both made a Final Four last year. Gonzaga lost the title game. It is hard to duplicate that, no matter how good you are. And I think like past years, like whatever, it's you can't take too much stock into that, but like it's hard to win in March, and I don't think either of these teams get back to the Final Four. And then, I mean, it all depends on matchups, but I don't know. Sorry, I didn't want to pick Kansas to be my title team, but I do think they're the best team in this Final Four.
Mhm.
Um, actually, I am gonna pick Villanova as my pick to win it all. I really, I want to show some bias to pick Kansas, but a part of me just feels like they just have I mean, the talent's there, but they just have a lot to work on. And I know Villanova does as well, but I
Mhm.
feel like they can fit their guys into distinct roles really well. Like,
Mhm.
because Kansas has a lot of talent, they have to figure out rotation and whatnot, and that's gonna take some time. But I'm gonna go with Villanova to win it all as well. I really like they're not the best team by any means, but that's not always what it takes to win in March. Like you got Gillespie, you got tough-minded role players who will be able to hit timely shots. And with the Final Four I have, Villanova is gonna win it all.
Mhm.
But
Uh,
definitely one team. Kind of quick shout. One team we
yeah.
didn't talk about a whole lot. Purdue is super talented. Jaden Ivey, he's a star. Their big man's a beast too. Purdue is definitely a team that could win it all. We didn't really touch on them as much as we should have. All right, go ahead.
Uh, yeah. My college roommate is a big Purdue basketball fan, and every time they play, I always trash talk the crap out of him.
That's awesome.
and and I'll definitely be doing the same thing as game day hits for them. I'll be doing my thing, trash talking the uh, out of nowhere. And I'm I'm definitely excited to see how the Big Ten Conference competes this season. And as of the whole season, I'm looking forward to every game that I will get a chance to watch, and it's going to be an amazing run for everyone. And I'm so glad college basketball is only, I think, 5 or 6 days away, maybe less.
That's,
I can't
that's
count.
special.
Yeah, uh, I can't really count live because I'm talking. so
So good.
so I am just I'm just gonna enjoy every moment of it, and we will definitely be back talking and recapping uh, week one's biggest matchups and a preview to week two, definitely. And
100%.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I just wanted to clarify something. So I said episode number 3, that this was episode number 3, but it's actually 4. So
Okay. Nice.
I just wanted to put that out there. So there's so everyone that's listening, just make sure to know it's episode 4.
Sweet. Man, it's gonna be a great college basketball season, bro. I'm super
Yeah,
hyped. There'll be a lot to
once
talk about once we,
it-
especially when we watch these teams a little bit more, know more about them.
yeah, especially with the um unexperienced teams with, like, let's say the Ivy League and other teams in like Big Sky or something. I think it's going to be interesting to see how everything does with them.
Agreed. Yeah, definitely. I love like we talked so much about the bigger conferences today. We'll get into more smaller teams later too.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, just being able to like some of these teams are really good too. Like they're definitely able to do some damage for sure.
Mhm. Okay, this has been episode number 4 of Hoops Talk Fanatics, and we are excited to see what happens next week.